A really unique piece that we offer to the community for the City of La Vista, City of Papillion, and the Papillion Rural Fire District is we guarantee a paramedic on our fire apparatus every day of the year, all hours of the day. Whether you call 911 and our ambulances are in service and they're available to show up, there'll be a paramedic on there, but if they are out and about on another incident or they're out of service, we can guarantee that if a fire engine is going to show up, that at least one paramedic will be on board. They can do a tremendous amount of things, cardiac care, respiratory, diabetic emergencies, everything from starting IVs to giving medications. We outfit our fire apparatus that way too. The only thing our fire apparatus can't do is transport a patient. It's pretty unique for us that we get to offer that, but it's something we're pretty proud of also. 3 or 4 years ago, the engine I was on, we showed up first for somebody whose heart was moving. It was too fast, and so the 2 other guys that I was with on the fire engine, they were able to get an IV going, push medication to get it slowed down. They had all that done by the time the med unit walked in. So essentially it was just a transfer of care. Hey, patient's doing better. They treated the situation and made it better for them, made them feel better in the process, and it happened quicker for them. That means everything to the patient. Roughly 80% of our calls are medical in nature. So if we're leaving and we're going on call, there's a chance it's medical and it's not necessarily a fire or a vehicle accident. So with 80% of our calls being that way, there's a lot of times our medic units, we have 2 medic units for 65,000 plus people. They're busy, they're out and about. So if they're unavailable, we're going to have to wait for another medic unit to show up. We have automatic aid agreements with Bellevue and Springfield, and it takes them time to get here. So our fire engines, we have 3 fire engines and 1 ladder truck. One of them can show up and they can begin care. They can treat the patient, and then it creates a quicker situation for the patient where we can get them loaded onto the cot and into neighboring jurisdictions, ambulance, and get them onto a higher level of care. We have an intubation roll, so when things get really, really serious, the ability to control somebody's airway and make sure that we keep that control. A lot of these things you'll find in an emergency room. We are just an emergency room on wheels. We have a battalion chief in charge of emergency medical services, so all the calls are being reviewed. There is at least a process to look at those things. This is more just like vitals and airway. So oxygen, blood pressure cuff, thermometer. We're finishing up right now an outside look. There's an outside perspective looking at our just emergency medical services and how we're running it, and then how we can grow it into the future. Like I said, 80% of our calls are medical in nature, and there's always room for improvement.
Consider 12 lead. I'm a huge fan in most patients. Cardiac monitor, of course, these are going to potentially be sick patients. And then having vascular access.
I'm Andrew Hurd. I'm a practicing ER physician, and I'm the medical director for Papillion Fire and Rescue. I'm responsible for the medical side, for the medical care that gets provided by the service. So I see my role as to be a resource for the providers here. So part A, they have access to me if they have questions about a case, if they have thoughts on things we can do differently for the department. So, I might understand the medicine quite well, but they're the ones that are working in the dark hallway, and they're the ones that are in the back of a bumpy ambulance. So they have great insight into what is functional and what works for them. So part of my job is to help facilitate that. I work with the administration as well to help them understand why some of these things are important. We go through the protocols, which are like the state practice guidelines, to make sure we're staying up to date on those. We make sure everyone's staying up to date on their certifications to practice as paramedics and EMTs. We do run reviews so that we go through specific cases to look at opportunities for improvement, but also just look at where we did well and what we can continue to do in the future. So one of the hard things about emergency medical services, you can go a long time between seeing specific conditions. So there's certain things you're going to see a lot of, but there's a lot of different things that you may only see once a year or once every other year. So it's really important to practice those things in between, both with hands-on, so doing mannequin work and things like that, but also just going through the protocols and the guidelines so that when you wander onto that scene and now this is in front of you, you're comfortable, you're ready to go, and you're providing the best care for that patient. I'm very impressed with how well this department functions. Working with a lot of different EMS groups and kind of seeing patients as they come into the ER, Papillion Fire and Rescue does an incredible job. They really serve the community. The community gets incredible medical care, whether it's from the ambulance and the medics there. The fire trucks all have medics available as well and have medication. So even when a fire truck's first on scene, they already start providing medical care. And all those paramedics go through the same training as the ones that are primarily on the ambulance. So it really is a credit to our community, and they are receiving incredible medical care from their first responders.